This page is comparing Aurelien Tchouameni and Gavi FUT23. Both players are center midfielders playing in La Liga Santander. Tchouameni is from France while Gavi is from Spain. With a total rating of 82, the higher-rated player is Aurelien Tchouameni versus Gavi's rating of 79. Aurelien Tchouameni versus Gavi comparison. Depending on what you are looking for in a center midfielder, different stats could be the most crucial. Generally, dribbling, passing, and pace are important statistics. With regards to dribbling, Gavi is clearly the superior player with 83. This is the greater than 78 for Aurelien Tchouameni. When it comes to passing, Tchouameni is marginally better with 79. This is the greater than 77 for Gavi. With regards to pace, Gavi is clearly superior with 76, which is better than 70 for Tchouameni. Physicality, shooting and defending can be important too for midfielders in FIFA 23 depending on what you are looking for and how you play. With regards to physicality, Aurelien Tchouameni is clearly superior with 82, which is better than 67 for Gavi. With regards to shooting, Tchouameni is clearly the superior player with 70, which is better than 64 for Gavi. When we focus on defending, Aurelien Tchouameni is clearly the superior player with 81, this is better than 67 for Gavi. Other factors to consider are skills and weak foot ratings. Both players have 3-star skills, both players have 3-star weak foot. It'll be a decisive match for both clubs and it will produce many individual duels worth paying attention to, both on the pitch and in the dugouts. From the contests in midfield to the tactical chess match on the benches, several of the most important figures at both clubs will be going head-to-head. Gavi versus Aurelien Tchouameni. The battle for the midfield will be marked by youth, as an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old will produce one of the most interesting and physical duels in El Clásico. Gavi, FC Barcelona's Spanish midfielder, makes up for his lack of height with aggression and bravery, allowing him to cover a large portion of the pitch. He is the player who commits the second most fouls in La Liga, with 54, which speaks volumes about his intensity. Tchouameni, who is Real Madrid's leader in recoveries with 28 balls recovered, will be up against him on the other side. The midfielder also contributes in attack, where he already has 3 goal assists, the last one going to Eder Militao in the last match day against RCD Espanyol. The latest edition of the tactical duel between Xavi and Ancelotti will be taking place too, after they have already faced each other several times this season. There will be a few more matches in which they will cross swords, and it's increasingly fascinating since they are getting to know each other well and they both understand how the other side likes to play. This tactical battle comes after they recently met in El Clásico in the Copa del Rey at the Bernabéu, a match in which Barcelona posted their lowest possession percentage since records began. Yet, despite that poor stat, Los Blaugrana won that day. Both coaches will be studying that game to try to change what happened, as Xavi will want more of the ball and Ancelotti will want a different result to the 1-0 loss suffered at the Bernabéu. Marc-André ter Stegen versus Thibaut Courtois. Two of the best goalkeepers in the world will also face each other in this El Clásico. Ter Stegen is on a great run in terms of goals conceded, one that could see him make La Liga history. Paco Liano and Jan Oblak share the honor of being the goalkeepers with the lowest goals conceded per game over the course of a full season, with 0.47 per match. But Barcelona's German goalkeeper has so far conceded just 8 goals in 25 matches, giving him an average of 0.32 goals conceded per game. In the opposite goal frame will be an old acquaintance in Courtois, who is also averaging less than a goal conceded per game, with 0.87 per match. His impressive saves have helped Real Madrid this season, week in and week out. Real Madrid's Aurelien Tchouameni is part of one of the most powerful midfielders in soccer. Speaking to Real Madrid TV, he praised his teammates in midfield and is optimistic about the season ahead. In statements for the Real Madrid TV, the French player Aurelien Tchouameni confessed that it feels very ilusionado of face to the next course. We are working well these days with Pintus and the technical body, are happy. We do not play friendly parties because we confront us against good teams and want to do it well. We work very well in the trainings and want to do the same in the parties. On the other hand, also it had words of praise for his mates in the room of machines. I think that have the best center of the field of the world, with legends like Luka and Tony. We learn of them every day. Also we have youngsters that have an incredible level like Bellingham, Camavinga, Valverde, Ceballos and I. We go to do it well this season. Although the Real Madrid has very good players in the zone of creation, cannot shelve to the Barcelona, that has reinforced very well in this window of signings. Ilkay Gundogan arrived pertinent of the Manchester City to contribute him all his experience to his mates in the medullary. To Oriol Romeu him Ficho like relief of Busquets and, although many doubted of his performance, the true is that in this pre-season the pivot has given a big performance. Frenkie de Jong, the new leader of the center of the Barcelona field. The Dutch steering wheel Frenkie de Jong had a big performance in the victory of the Barcelona in front of the Real Madrid 3-0 in turns at American. It offered a new alternative in exit, fixing between head offices and debugging of responsibility to Oriol Romeu. Beyond all doubt, after the exit of Busquets, Frenkie is the player that more benefited has seen inside the terrain of game, and this is a big news for Xavi Hernandez. Although Pedri is not to 100% physically, is impossible to imagine the good operation of the Catalan group without the Canarian. During the period on holiday, the player took care a lot so that this season can shelve the injuries and like this contribute so that the Barca can achieve important titles this season, that is for initiating. The Barcelona explains besides with Gavi, the current golden boy, the one who, in spite of have not been able to debut in the United States, is a fundamental piece for the interests of the Cules. Gavi, 18, Spain. The Nugget. At just 18 years old, Gavi is a marvel, praises one of his most brilliant predecessors in the Spanish environment and coach in Barcelona, Xavi. He is the latest gem shaped by La Masia, Barca's training center, after skipping all youth classes, winning a first contract with the Blaugranas in 2020. Such precocity that he became the youngest Spaniard in history to start at La Roja. His small size, 1.73 m, and his ball-to-foot technique make him very difficult to channel, not to mention his defensive slaughter, exhausting for his opponents in the middle. What gives some headaches to the staff of Didier Deschamps if by chance Spain were to cross the road of the Blues. Especially since we could also have mentioned Pedri, to whom Gavi succeeded the winners of the Raymond Kopa Trophy for the Best Young Person of the Year 2022, as the two new centerpieces of the Spanish midfield seem as interchangeable as they are essential. In their club Barca as in selection. Aurelien Tchouameni, 22 years old, France. The Rock. French fans who have never heard of Tchouameni may quickly become familiar with his name during the World Cup, as Real Madrid's new Rock, recruited this summer for €80 million excluding bonuses, will be the essential cog in the Didier Deschamps in midfield. Ironically, when he exploded in Monaco last year, observers like to describe him as a hybrid prototype, a fine mix between Pogba for the physique, 187 centimeters hard to move, and Kanté for his faculties recovery. In Qatar, he will have to forget the two blue midfielders, injured. Not enough to stress the new barometer of Didier Deschamps' team, given confidence by a good start since his first selection in September 2021. Frankly, this position in the France team, I approach it with enthusiasm and desire, but no pressure. The pressure, I know it since I was very young and even more at Real. Gavi and Aurelien Tchouameni are two of the names ringing out most loudly at the end of the 2021-22 season. Gavi is shining for Spain and negotiating a new deal with Barcelona, while the Frenchman has penned a contract with Real Madrid and playing for the France national team. The two biggest teams in Spain have players who can be key parts of their midfield for years to come.